Ladies, let me tell you something. Life is too short, too beautiful, too dang complicated to waste your time chasing someone who's quietly slipping away. You know the type. The man who once called you every night, who laughed at your jokes, who made you feel like the only woman in the world, suddenly goes quiet. He distances himself. He ignores your calls, your texts, your little hey, how's your day messages, and now you're sitting there asking yourself, what did I do? Why is he acting like I don't exist? When a man distances himself, the first thing you need to understand is this: it is not about you. I want you to let that sink in, because so many women immediately start questioning themselves, their worth, and their value the moment they feel him pulling away. Did I say something wrong? Did I not do enough? Is he losing interest? Stop. Take a breath and repeat after me. His distance has nothing to do with your worth. You are not less, you are not failing, and you are certainly not the problem. What is happening is about him, not you. It is about his fears, his insecurities, his inability to handle emotions, or simply his lack of readiness to commit to what he feels. Sometimes men retreat not because they don't care, but because they are unsure of how to navigate their own feelings, or they are afraid of getting too close. This doesn't make them evil or cruel, it just makes them human. And understanding that is the first step towards saving your peace. You see, when a man distances himself, his silence or withdrawal is a reflection of his internal state, not a reflection of your value. You can be beautiful, kind, confident, and loving, but if he is not ready to meet you where you are, his distance is simply a mirror of his own limitations. And here's the truth: if you constantly internalize his behavior, you give him the power to dictate your emotions, your happiness, and your sense of self-worth. That is why it's crucial to separate your value from his actions. Your confidence, your self-respect, and your love for yourself should never hinge on whether someone chooses to stay close or step back. Think about it this way. Imagine a man who is scared of intimacy. He pulls away because closeness triggers his fear, not because you are not lovable. Or maybe he's indecisive about commitment, wrestling with expectations and pressures, and your presence reminds him of responsibilities he's not ready to handle. None of these things reflect anything about you. They reflect everything about him, and when you finally understand that, a weight lifts off your shoulders. You stop trying to fix him, to chase him, or to bend yourself into something he will accept. You stop believing that his distance equals rejection of your worth, because it doesn't. So the next time you feel him pulling away, remind yourself, this is his story, not yours. You are allowed to feel frustrated, hurt, or confused, but you are not allowed to diminish your value for someone else's fear. Step back, take care of yourself, and protect your energy. The right man will never make you question your worth, and the wrong one will teach you an invaluable lesson: that love and attention are meant to flow freely, not be forced or chased. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and untouchable. His distance doesn't change that. It only reveals his own inability to meet you fully. When a man distances himself or ignores you, your first instinct might be to chase. You might start texting more, calling more, trying to prove that you're worth his time. But let me tell you something, chasing someone who is pulling away never works the way you hope it will. In fact, it does the exact opposite. It drains your energy, it steals your peace, and it chips away at your confidence. Every message you send, every call you make, every attempt to get his attention is like pouring your life force into a bucket with holes in the bottom. No matter how much you give, it never fills up. That's why the first thing you need to do when you notice him stepping back is to stop. Stop chasing. Stop convincing yourself that if you just try harder, he'll come around. Because trying harder in this situation only makes you smaller while he continues to test the limits of your patience. Instead, focus on thriving. Thriving means turning your attention inward, putting your energy into yourself, and reminding yourself that your happiness is not dependent on someone else's presence. Thriving means pursuing your passions, nurturing your friendships, investing in your career, and doing the things that make you feel alive. It's about living a life that excites you so much that the thought of him ignoring you barely touches your peace. When you shift your focus from chasing him to building yourself, something incredible happens. You start to glow. Your confidence radiates. You become magnetic without even trying, because nothing attracts a man more than a woman who knows her worth, enjoys her life, and refuses to shrink for anyone. Thriving also means protecting your emotional energy. Chasing someone who is distant keeps you in a constant cycle of hope and disappointment. You spend your days analyzing his behavior, questioning his intentions, and wondering what you did wrong. That is exhausting, and it keeps you from living fully. When you stop chasing, you break that cycle. You reclaim your time, your focus, and your joy. You give yourself permission to feel complete on your own instead of waiting for someone else to validate your existence. This is where true power lies, not in making someone come back to you, but in becoming the woman who doesn't need anyone else to feel whole. Remember, thriving isn't just about ignoring him or playing games. It's about consciously choosing to live your life fully, no matter what he does. It's about filling your days with growth, laughter, love, and experiences that elevate you. And here's the beautiful part. When you thrive, he notices, not because you are trying to get his attention, but because you are radiating confidence, independence, and self-respect. That energy is irresistible, and it often makes the one who pulled away reconsider what they let go of. So stop chasing. Stop pouring your energy into someone who isn't meeting you halfway. Focus on yourself, your happiness, and your growth. Live boldly, laugh freely, and love yourself fiercely. When you do, you are not only thriving, you are unstoppable. Confidence is magnetic. Let me say that again. Confidence is magnetic. There's something about a woman who knows her worth, who carries herself with quiet self-respect, that draws people in without even trying. When a man senses that you value yourself, that you don't need his constant validation to feel complete, it makes him stop and take notice. On the other hand, desperation, the neediness, the constant text, the over-explaining, the begging for attention, does the exact opposite. It pushes him further away. Desperation is like a red flag. It signals insecurity and a lack of boundaries, and its exhausting foe for anyone to navigate. Confidence, in contrast, communicates strength, stability, and allure. It tells him that you are full on your own, that you have your own life, your own happiness, and your own priorities, and suddenly he wonders what he's missing. Indifference, when paired with confidence and self-respect, is one of the most powerful tools a woman can have. But let me be clear, indifference here doesn't mean playing games, acting cold, or pretending you don't care. True indifference comes from a place of inner strength. It comes from understanding that your value is inherent, that your energy is precious, and that you won't waste it on someone who doesn't meet you halfway. When you stop chasing, when you stop reacting to his distance with panic or frustration, you create a space where he begins to question his own actions. Why is she not calling? Why is she not texting? Why does she seem unbothered by my silence? That pause, that moment of reconsideration, often leads to reflection, and reflection can lead to him realizing what he almost lost. Confidence also sets boundaries. It makes it clear that you won't settle for being treated like an option, that your time and attention are valuable, and that you expect respect in return. A confident woman doesn't argue over why he's distant. She doesn't beg for explanations, and she doesn't tolerate behavior that undermines her self-worth. Instead, she focuses on herself, her growth, and her life. And here's the key. This confidence is magnetic because it comes from authenticity. You don't have to fake it. You don't have to pretend to be strong if you're not. Confidence grows naturally when you know who you are and refuse to compromise your values for anyone. The more you embody this energy, the more you change the dynamic. A man who was once pulling away may start to reconsider, not because you manipulated him, but because your presence commands respect and admiration. He sees that you are not dependent on him, and suddenly he realizes that he could have lost something irreplaceable. Meanwhile, you remain untouchable by his indecision. You are not desperate, you are not pleading, you are simply living fully. And that is irresistibly magnetic. So remember, confidence is not arrogance. It's not about proving anything. It's about owning yourself, valuing your energy, and combining self-respect with calm indifference. When you do that, you don't chase anyone. You attract the right people effortlessly, and the wrong ones naturally drift away. Confidence isn't just attractive, it's unstoppable. Silence is clarity. That's right, what feels like rejection, confusion, or neglect is actually a gift in disguise. When a man distances himself, When he ignores your calls or withdraws from the connection you once shared, he is showing you something very important. He is showing you exactly where your energy is best spent. And here's the truth that too many women miss. Your energy is not meant to be poured into convincing someone of your worth. Your energy is precious, powerful, and limited. And spending it on someone who is not fully present for you is like pouring water into a cracked cup. It will never fill up, and it will leave you drained. The silence, as painful as it may feel, is a signpost. It is clarity. It is the universe whispering, focus here, focus on yourself. Too often, women interpret his distance as a reflection of their inadequacy. Maybe if I text more, he'll respond. Maybe if I explain myself better, he'll come back. Maybe if I try harder, he'll stay. Stop right there. That pattern does nothing but sap your confidence and distract you from what truly matters, your growth, your happiness, your life. Silence is telling you something different. Silence is showing you the path to self-respect. It's reminding you that you are not meant to chase validation, that your value does not need to be argued for, and that the right energy deserves your full attention. When you embrace this clarity, a remarkable transformation happens. Instead of spiraling into anxiety or overthinking his behavior, you start redirecting your focus inward. You invest in your passions, your goals, your friendships, and your well-being. You nurture the life you want to live, independent of anyone else's actions. And in doing so, you reclaim control over your emotional landscape. You stop being reactive and start being proactive about your own happiness. Your days become about growth and fulfillment, not about waiting for someone else to make space for you in their life. Silence also allows you to see things as they are, not as you hope them to be. It strips away illusions, pretenses, and wishful thinking. A man who distances himself is revealing his priorities and his readiness, or lack thereof, to fully participate in the relationship. This is clarity, not rejection. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you can redirect your energy into building a life that doesn't depend on someone else's attention. A life that is full, vibrant, and undeniably yours. So, the next time a man pulls away, the next time you feel the sting of his silence, remember this: it is a guide, a sign, and a wake-up call. Your energy is a treasure, and it deserves to be spent wisely on yourself, on your growth, on your joy, on your self-respect. Do not waste it trying to prove your value to someone who has already shown you where it is not appreciated. Silence is not empty. It is clarity. And when you embrace it, you find freedom, empowerment, and a peace that no amount of chasing could ever give you. Be the prize. Let me tell you, this is where everything comes together. So many women make the mistake of giving themselves away too easily, bending over backward to prove their worth, chasing attention, and hoping that if they just try hard enough, the right man will notice. But here's the truth. When you chase, you become negotiable. You become an option, and no one wants to value something they can get too easily. The real power, the real magnetic energy comes from being the prize, and being the prize starts with you. It starts with shining, laughing, and loving yourself first, before anyone else's validation enters the picture. When you focus on your own happiness, you stop living your life in the shadows of someone else's attention. You find joy in the little things, excitement in your passions, and peace in your own presence. You laugh freely, not because you're trying to impress them, but because your life is full of reasons to smile. You radiate confidence because you know your worth, your boundaries, and your value. And here's the magic. A woman who loves herself fully does not have to fight for anyone's approval. She does not chase. She does not beg. She simply exists, vibrant, radiant, and untouchable in her own right. That is the energy that draws the right people in, and it is irresistible. Being the prize also means refusing to compromise your standards. It means understanding that your time, attention, and love are precious, and they should never be handed over to someone who is not willing to meet you on your level. You do not settle for crumbs when you deserve a feast. You do not accept half-hearted effort when you are ready to give your whole heart. You value yourself enough to walk away from anyone who cannot see your worth because you know that your happiness is too important to gamble on someone else's indecision. When you shine in this way, something remarkable happens. Men notice, not because you're trying to catch their eye, but because you are living fully, authentically, and unapologetically. Your energy is magnetic, your presence commands respect, and your confidence communicates a message louder than words ever could. You are not here to be anyone's option. You are here to be someone's prize. And the right man, the one who is ready, willing, and capable of valuing you, will recognize this immediately. He will see your light, and he will step up to match it. So ladies, remember this. Being the prize is not about playing games, manipulating attention, or being cold. It's about living your life boldly, loving yourself fiercely, and valuing your own energy above anyone else's approval. When you do this, you stop chasing, you stop compromising, you stop shrinking. And in that power, in that freedom, in that unshakable confidence, you become the prize that every man should want, but only the right one will earn. When a man distances himself or ignores you, it is not a reflection of your worth, it is a reflection of him. Chasing him will only drain your energy, steal your peace, and make you forget the incredible woman you already are. Instead, step back, focus on yourself, thrive, and live fully. Let your confidence shine, your laughter be genuine, and your self-respect be unwavering. Embrace the silence as clarity, a guide showing you where your energy truly belongs, on your growth, your happiness, and your life. When you love yourself first and shine from within, you stop being an option and start being the prize, magnetic in your energy, untouchable in your power. Remember, the right man will not make you question your worth. He will celebrate it. So stand tall, live boldly, and honor the woman you are.